Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dan from UnitedQ. It's Wednesday, which means we have another awesome podcast to get you over hump day. I'm here with my co-host, Barbecue Forte.
Hello.
And we are brought to you by ProQ, a barbecue gourmet, and Smokewood Shack, our awesome sponsors. ProQ is dedicated to providing you with quality smoking products with top-notch service and free advice for beginners to pitmasters. And you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under ProQ Smokers. So if you're thinking about buying your first smoker or looking to upgrade or even looking to pick up some epic accessories, check them out over at Max Barbecue. And Barbecue Gourmet is devoted to promoting real barbecue and supplying the UK and Europe with top championship-winning barbecue rubs, sauces, marinades and accessories from the US and around the world. And you can find them on Twitter and online under Barbecue Gourmet. So regardless of how you cook, whether it's on charcoal, wood, gas or electric, the real taste of barbecue can be yours all year round. And on this week's show, we've got Ben Tish. Hello, Ben.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Very good, thank you.
Great to have you on.
Yeah, no, it's great to be on. It's an honour to be on. Thank you for having me.
You're too kind. So, Ben, could you just introduce yourself to the listeners, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, my name's Ben, Ben Tish, and I am chef, director, co-owner, whatever you want to call it, of Salt Yard Group of restaurants. And we've got 4 restaurants in central London, soon to be 5. One of them is called MB Yard, which is kind of very loosely a barbecue restaurant, albeit with a Spanish-Italian kind of slant to it.
Awesome. So, what sort of thing can we expect to see on the menus at the MB Yard?
MB Yard, yeah. So it's kind of Spanish-Italian influence, same as our other restaurants, but we cook everything over a big charcoal kind of Basque style grill. We stick wood on it as well, and also we've got a big kind of wood fired oven, so it's all kind of natural cooking. What would you expect to see? Well, I mean, everything. It's not just meat. Meat's just a small part of what we do there. We kind of vegetables, fish, shellfish, some elements of desserts. Will go on the grill. We'll get the kind of the smoke treatment. Things like octopus, sardines, and fish. With the meat, we use a lot of we use a range of meat, but we use a lot of Iberico pork. It's kind of one of our favourite cuts to do on there. So it might be, presser or loin, or it might be ribs. Iberico pork ribs are fantastic. At the minute we've kind of got asparagus on there. We've got peas in the pods that we're throwing on the barbecue. All sorts of things.
Cool. So more mainly like a grilling type approach. There's not much of the smoking side of things going on.
Yeah, well, there is. I mean, there's lots of grilling, but we also have, like we say, we have a kind of a wood stroke charcoal oven which creates its own smoke. But what we do a lot of, we have a couple of smokers in the back where we cold smoke. So we'll cold smoke kind of sea bream and sea bass, for example, and use that kind of carpaccio, brine it first or salt it, use that in kind of carpaccios and crudos. But what we also like to do is cold smoke pieces of meat and fish as well. So we give it that cold smoke injection first, and then it gets finished and cooked on the grill. So you've got kind of a double kind of smoky thing going on there. That's one thing we like to do.
Nice, yeah.
Nice, sounds good.
Dan here has been playing around with some cold smoking and stuff over the last week. We've got one of the cold smoke generators from ProQ and been playing around with smoking all sorts of different things of that.
Yeah,
Are those ProQ ones? Are they literally just the little manual ones that you liked with they look like a maze? Is that what you're talking about?
They're the ones. Yeah, the CSGs. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're. I mean, they're brilliant. I guess we'll probably get on to talking about the book at some stage. But I use those for the cold smoking element in my cookbook. I think they're fantastic. For home cold smoking, it doesn't get easier, does it?
Oh, awesome! Didn't know that. That's cool. Brilliant. I had there's a product out of the US called the Amazing Tube, which you can get from barbecuegourmet.com. And also, I had one of those previously, and now I've got the CSG as well. They're both really good bits of kit. Like they're both very, very good in the fact that I can set it off and leave it for 4 hours, 8 hours, 30, depending on what I'm smoking, like bacon, 13, whatever I want to do. And I can just literally go away and come back and just know that they're reliable, going to stay underneath the sort of safe temperatures and the sort of I'm not going to come back to a puddle of smoked butter in the bottom of my smoker or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I really enjoy it. I was into charcuterie, so I did a lot of cold smoking of meats and stuff for a bit. And so cold smoking's got a close place in my heart, actually. I really...
Good, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I love it. I mean, let's say this book, certainly it's kind of, it's a bit different in all the recipes in there and kind of what we do at MBR. It's less about the bigger cuts of the cold smoking. As I say, it's more about we talked about butter. We smoke our own butter at cold smoke our own butter at MBR. That's kind of it's become a bit of a signature thing there. But yeah, it will be like smaller cuts and things. So things that will just probably take an hour or so to cold smoke, just so you've got that kind of light, kind of background smokiness in there. And then, we'll serve it raw, kind of carpaccio style or whatever, and then, or finish the cooking process on the grill or in the wood oven. And I just like, it's kind of an intrinsic smokiness that you just kind of don't get when you're, if you're kind of hot smoking and do it over the grill. It's just, I just really like it. I think it's quite a unique thing to do. So
that's something I haven't really played around with much. Is cold smoking something and then finishing on the grill. I've tended to be doing a lot more stuff like you said, like butter and cheeses and some like charcuterie meats that you don't then cook. So I'm really intrigued with that and really will go home and give it a try.
Yeah, give it a try. I mean, obviously, if you take a lamb rump, for example, you'd need to brine it. Depending on what it is, meat or fish, but you still give it a kind of a brine for a couple of hours. And then stick it in the smoke. So it's brine, stick it in the smoker, give it an hour or an hour and a half in there for like a lamb rump, and then cook it over the grill, and you get a really interesting result.
Oh wow, that sounds really really cool. I've never had a chance. Going back to the butter, I've seen a lot of people recently. I've never churned my own butter, but I often get like a block of butter and then basically break it down so it's a bit softer, add some like herbs and spices in there, then reform it and then smoke it, and that's a really nice thing to do, and chuck in the fridge for those occasions where, I mean, you could serve a little bit of it on top of like sweet corn or corn on the cob or something like that. It's a really nice little touch.
Yeah, I love the smoke butter. I mean, we do that. I mean, we don't churn it. We just get really good quality unsalted butter. Cut it up. Give it the cold smoke, and then give it 24 hours in the fridge to develop. And then what we do, we serve it, we serve it with a couple of different things, but our signature dishes, we make these kind of homemade, we actually have them made for us now, these beautiful kind of potato and honey flatbreads. They're quite rustic, and they get finished straight kind of over a very hot charcoal and wood grill. So they're kind of almost, kind of quite blackened. And then smoked butter goes on those, and fresh thyme leaves immediately when they're off the grill, and they kind of get sent out like that. And that's become a real signature. Yeah.
Is that like sort of like potato file bread? Like, so you mash up the potato and use it that way? It's like a floury sort of texture? Yeah,
exactly. Well, the potato's mashed up. Well, it's mashed up a bit, but you do get the odd kind of chunk in there.
Yeah, cool.
And then it's got a kind of a background sweetness from the honey, but it all helps in kind of the raising process of the bread. So
nice.
It's a really nice bread.
Sounds lovely.
Do you ever use the like smoked butter in like making a cake or anything like that, or not?
Not making a cake. I mean, there's what I've found is in terms of making desserts. Making desserts on the barbecue. I don't know if you guys have kind of done any of. Have you done any of that in kind of baking on a barbecue?
Yeah, we do. We've got I've got a pineapple upside down cake recipe, and we do brownies and those sort of things. So we've done quite a few.
Even
desserts.
Just simply like grilling some fruit and stuff like that. It's really quite nice over the charcoal.
Exactly that. Yeah. No, I kind of do the same. I mean, the book. There's a section in the book on desserts, and there's the kind of the grilling stuff, but there's also some baking, and we don't do a huge amount of that at MBR, but I wanted to expand on that for the book, and just show kind of essentially if you've got a good barbecue with a lid, you've got an oven, haven't you? So there's no reason why you can't kind of do anything that you would in an oven. And you naturally get that smokiness from the barbecue. So if you want a cake with a kind of a hint of smokiness to it, then do it on a barbecue. It just naturally gets it. I had some amazing results from that. I've got this kind of coffee cake that cooked on a barbecue, you just get a kind of a smidgen of smoke at the back of it. It's not overpowering; it's just there at the end, and it just really kind of raises the standard of the cake. It's amazing.
Nice, very nice. I never thought about the. I saw someone posted the other day in one of the forums that we follow, and they'd basically smoked the butter, and that was their way of imparting smoke flavour into their cakes and breads and stuff. And I found that really quite interesting that they're doing on that level. Which sounds similar to, again, like what you're sort of doing with some of the food. You're cold smoking it and then you're finishing it on the grill, which is cool, seeing smoke being put in at different levels and different layers and stuff, which is interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, also, I smoking. Have you smoked chocolate? Have you done that at all?
I haven't. No.
Yeah. So that's a kind of a couple of things that we've done. We've played around with that quite a lot actually, because it's not straightforward. But cold smoking chocolate.
Is that solid form chocolate, or do you cold smoke the liquid form and then set it? Or
no? So we've kind of experimented around, but what we found best was just getting kind of like chocolate pistols, cold smoking it. But weirdly, milk chocolate takes it much better than dark chocolate.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we found, and then obviously then you can stick that in your cake, or whatever you're doing. I've got a chocolate. Milk chocolate and apricot tart, so
nice.
It's kind of double layered. So you charcoal grilled apricots. So you've got that kind of natural smokiness there, and then it's a kind of a chocolate tart mix. We're using cold smoked milk chocolate, and you make your tart with that. So that works really well.
That sounds lush.
Do you put anything onto the fruit before you grill it, or do you just put it on?
You know what I mean, what I tend to do is with kind of fruits, I guess. If you're grilling fruits, I mean, what you guys think? Obviously, you want it quite dry, don't you? So you kind of need to let it dry out. But what I do since once it's dried out, I often have like a syrup that I'll kind of brush or base the fruits with as they're grilling, just to get a kind of an extra boost of, smokiness, and it just glazes it nicely.
Yeah, and it tends to caramelise a little bit on the outside with under the heat of the charcoal.
Exactly that. So it just gives, exactly. It gives a nice kind of glaze, and that's what I do. But again, you have to kind of take it case by case with the fruits, I think, and just kind of see if it actually kind of needs it.
Cool. So where does the Spanish and Italian influence come from? Did you spend time travelling, or? Yeah, I mean, I've so let me kind of go back a bit, I suppose. So kind of having been cooking over 20 years. Originally, kind of my training and all that was kind of classic French, and as it was many years ago, that was all kind of really what was happening on the scene. But then I got into an Italian restaurant that had just opened in St James's, and I started there as a sous chef, just kind of to do something different, and immediately fell in love with that kind of ethos of cooking, which was much more about produce and produce-led cooking, so it wasn't, layers and layers of sauces and all that kind of frippery that goes with classic cooking. It was very much ingredient-led, and they had a big char grill there, which I hadn't experienced before, so I was kind of instantly, I think that's kind of got me a little bit into kind of the grilling and the barbecuing nowadays. But so they were cooking loads of stuff very simply, loads of olive oil on it, sea salt, big tail of monkfish or whatever, just cooked very simply over a char grill, and then with whatever seasonal vegetables were around. So I instantly fell in love with that and decided that was the kind of the direction I wanted to go in. Cool.
So Italian, and then spent time traveling around Italy and really falling in love with that. And then Salt Yard came about, and obviously that was Italian and Spanish. So it was then just getting submerged into kind of was having the Italian. It's not a million miles away from Spanish cooking, to be honest. There's lots of links to Spain and Italy in terms of the ethos. A lot of the produce, their cultural similarities, if you like, food similarities. So it wasn't, obviously they've got their charcuteries, they've got their cheeses. It's kind of very similar. So just immerse myself in the Spanish way not necessarily cooking, but more their ingredient, their produce, and spent loads of time travelling around there. And then that's it, really. I mean, I think. I haven't worked out over there, but I've travelled a lot, and I've eaten in lots of restaurants out there, and I know lots of people that have worked out there, and now they work for me. It's kind of a lot of our staff are from Spain and Italy, so always kind of getting tips from those guys as well.
Yeah, some of the best barbecue I've had has been sat on a beach, sort of southern Spain, and actually I've been sat in a restaurant and I've actually watched the guy come off a boat, walking up the beach into the restaurant with the fish, and I said, "Yep, I'll have that."
Yep.
And on the grill outside over the charcoal, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So I can understand how that influences you.
Yeah, no, we can't fail to kind of. I'll tell you what's also really, really good. kind of in between all that is I'm a massive fan of Portugal, and and one day we'd probably love to do a Portuguese restaurant, because it is quite different to Spanish cooking, and they barbecue amazingly. I mean, have you been to Portugal?
I've been around the sort of Faro area, Portugal.
So the kind of Algarve. Yeah. I mean, I've had some amazing barbecues again on the beach. Kind of their sardines. And
fantastic.
And they love using Iberian pork out there as well. So there's loads of that. But yeah, amazing barbecues and in Spain. I mean, northern Spain for me, Basque country. That's where they kind of really, for me, they really excel in that. I mean, I've had some of the best meals around the Basque country, around San Sebastian and Bilbao, that neck of the woods.
Yeah, wow.
And it's interesting. You go there, every restaurant around there has a grill barbecue out the back. There's very specific ones with kind of wheels on that they use to raise, the kind of the level of the grill.
Yeah, they wind it up and down. Yeah,
exactly. They wind it up and down, that kind of thing. And literally every restaurant and most people's houses have one of these at the back of their house, just as an extension of their kitchen. So they're all doing a couple of dishes off that, and that's their culture. It's not cool, or it's just that's what they do, and kind of fell in love with that. So that was definitely an inspiration for Embillard.
I'm getting married in Spain in 2017, and the villa that we've got booked has one. It's a 16th century sort of vineyard. I believe it's around that.
Fantastic.
It's got one of those grills at the back, and I just can't wait to go over there and use it.
Yeah, get your hands on it. Yeah. Get married and then straight on the grill, right?
Yeah. Don't worry about the wedding. Let's get the barbecue lit.
Yeah. There's a really good restaurant. I don't know if you've heard of a restaurant called Extebarri. You guys probably have. You heard of that?
Yeah.
Extebarri? Yeah, which is, that's mind blowing. That's kind of barbecuing, I guess, taken to a completely different level, and lots of inspiration from that. And the guy who runs it, he's just him and about 3 others in the kitchen, and he kind of cooks daily over grills that he kind of chops down his own wood, makes his own charcoal, all that kind of thing. He does everything there, and he's using loads and loads of different types of wood for different dishes. And you go into his kitchen, it's incredible. It's just a bank of grills. He makes all the grills himself out, with his bare hands. He's a real geek, but it's different level kind of grilling, and things
inspiring
like
stuff.
Really inspiring stuff. He'll do things like one of his signature dishes is oysters that he grills in the shell, but at a certain level. So it's never hard grilling. It's just a smoke gently lifts open the oyster shell, just gently perfumes it, and just so it's just kind of at that right temperature and serves it like that. It's just the most incredible, and he balances the smoke every single time with he that's what he does day in, day out. He's a genius at it. So anybody that hasn't been there, is into barbecuing, should go.
Yeah, that's Extebarri, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's in between. It's a real mission to get to. It's in between San Sebastian and Bilbao, and you have to it's really in the middle of nowhere. And the location is actually incredible as well. It's literally in the middle of nowhere, backed onto this mountain, and it's kind of surrounded by cows and kind of just roaming around.
Some of the pictures look phenomenal. Looks like it's such a beautiful backdrop.
Yeah. It's stunning. It's kind of idyllic. So you kind of have to get a cab either from Bilbao, San Sebastian, or I think it's probably a bus. But it's worth kind of as a once in a lifetime trip. It's brilliant. It's amazing.
Well, it sounds like the whole area. If you're into barbecue, the whole area, San Sebastian, Bilbao, it sounds like it's an area that needs to be hit up on the map.
Yeah, I absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's just that's a great restaurant, but there's lots and lots of great restaurants, and they in San Sebastian they have these cider houses where it's a big culture out there for the locals, where it's kind of early part of the year where they're called cideries or cider houses, and they drink lots of cider, which is kind of in season at the time, but they have these big huge grills where they're grilling all the Galician or Basque steaks, which are really from old dairy cows, which are that's really fashionable in London at the minute. It's kind of everybody's using this Galician beef, which is it's 12-year-old dairy cows and things like that, which a few years ago nobody was hurt.
No one would touch.
Pardon?
No one would even go near.
No, exactly that. Nobody would even touch. It'd be like, what? What are you talking about? But the Basques have been doing it for years, and they know their food in the Basque country. I mean, that is their eating and drinking are their priorities. So they know what they're talking about. But you go kind of to any very good restaurant, Spanish restaurant now in London, they've got that on the menu. So
it's great to see though, because I mean, like making sure that obviously once a dairy cow has its life producing dairy products, it's great to see that we can there's more use that we can use the animal for, and actually can celebrate it in a different way rather than just dairy. We can now celebrate it in steaks and other forms, which is great.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, it couldn't have worked out better for the dairy cow, really, could it?
Exactly.
What a life.
Double line. Yeah, no, it's really good.
Around the dairy farmers, they must be rubbing their hands, because now they see once they had produced their lot of milk, there was not much more worth to them at all. So now
exactly. Now there's another life for it. So
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's really good.
So when is the book out? We've been talking a little bit about it. When are we expecting it?
We have, yeah. So it is officially out on the 21st of this month, April. So that's next Thursday, I think. Is it next Thursday, next Friday?
Yeah.
That's when it's officially out. But there are a few copies that have leaked out. And I think it's been spotted here and there. But
we've seen a few sneaky pictures here and there.
So what's the book title? Is Grill Smoke Barbecue?
Yeah, so the book title is Grill Smoke Barbecue. So if you're on social media, there's a hashtag for that, which is Grill Smoke Barbecue. So there'll be kind of lots of activity happening. It already is, but we'll be kind of ramping it up over the next few weeks. Cool. Really, really excited about it. Actually, I mean, it's kind of influenced by MBR. Certainly, MBR was the inspiration for the book, but I've kind of taken it on, and it's very much for barbecuing at home. And I've tried to kind of strike the balance between making it accessible to people that just want to do something a bit more exciting on the barbecue than, chucking a couple of burgers on there. So very accessible, but also stuff on there that will appeal to probably the audience of this podcast, or, that people are a bit more interested in, a bit more advanced barbecuers. So I've tried to strike the balance with that.
Yeah, cool. And your ethos is again that the barbecue is an extension of the kitchen, and that's what you want to try and get people to harness that properly.
Yeah, very, very much so. Rather than just, it's kind of, wheeling it out, kind of, because it's summer and dusting it down. I mean, you don't, obviously you don't want to be barbecuing, when it's chucking down the rain, or maybe you do, but I'll happily wheel the barbecue out in the winter, or it's for me, it's not about. Okay, I do like the occasion of barbecue. It does have a sense of occasion, but for me, it's about wanting those barbecue flavours, which you can't achieve in a regular kitchen. So I'll happily wheel that barbecue out for that, and get a different kind of flavour, and you can do things on the barbecue that you just can't do in the kitchen. So that's yes, it's about being an extension of the kitchen. Yeah.
Cool. Is the book like an out-and-out recipe book, or is there lots of techniques and stuff in there as
well?
Yeah,
so it is. Yeah, it's there's 120 odd recipes. There's a lot of recipes in there, but I've written I think quite a lot of text as well on the intros. But there's various bits in there. There's I've written a bit about kind of smoking in particular. It's called that chapter is called "The Not So Mystifying Art of Smoking," because I do think that there is a bit of a kind of mysticism around it and how it works and so on. So I've tried to demystify that. And then there's quite a lot about choosing your equipment, how a barbecue works in terms of direct cooking, indirect cooking, a bit kind of cooking in the embers, just trying to open people up to it a bit more than rather you've got a grill, so stick something on it. There's so much, as you guys know, there's so much more you can do when you've got the flames and the wood and that kind of thing. And also things like putting using wood on the barbecue, because it's chucking a lump of wood on the barbecue while you're cooking. A lot of people don't seem to know you can kind of do that. You know what I mean? It's it's about just showing people what is able to do and how easy it is. There's notes on fuels, fuel as well, about trying to get good charcoal, and there's different wood that you can use for different flavors, and there's a good bit of text in there. Definitely, there's some good info, I think.
Yeah, I'm just jumping through a quick preview of the book now. I've just found it on Amazon, and you can see, as you mentioned earlier, about desserts. There's some really nice sounding desserts in here. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. So milk. Like I say, I think there's. I mean, I really like. There's obviously biased. I like all the recipes, but some particularly interesting ones. The cakes I think are going to be a surprise for people. I think grilling fruits on there is going to be a surprise for some people as well. But that's probably better known than if you can cook a tart on there, or like I said to you, I've got this coffee and walnut cake on there with salted caramel and clotted cream, and the cake is baked on the barbecue, for a couple of hours or whatever it is on there, and it's. People said to me, well, why would you bake on a barbecue when you can just do it in your oven at home, with kind of a timer control and all the rest of it? I was like, well, it's because the difference is in the flavour. You're getting that kind of background light smokiness that just elevates it to another level. So, there's some great desserts in here, I'd say.
One that catches my eye, got the whole brill grilled with seaweed butter. That sounds phenomenal.
The which one? Sorry.
The whole brill grilled with seaweed butter.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant, and that was inspired by again San Sebastian and that neck of the woods, where they there's another restaurant over the other side of San Sebastian called El Carno, and much simpler than Extebarri, and one of their signature. Their signature dish are whole turbots cooked over wood.
Lovely.
Which I mean, what's not to like? But they have these fish clamps, which I think you kind of need if you're going to do whole fish well. So you can buy them. I think they're fairly easy to get hold of now, certainly online. Kind of fish-shaped clamps, and you put your fish inside the clamp. And do it. And so I thought I'd use brill. It's a bit cheaper, and I think equally as delicious. And just wanted then to add a bit of extra punch to it. So nice kind of seaweed butter, just as kind of its finishing. Yeah, so kind of moisten it and flavour it. But that's actually one of my favourites, I think.
It's a product recently come to the UK market called the Flippin' Grate, which is, like you said about the fish clamps there, it's sort of a rectangle shaped clamp in itself, but it's the sort of wide clamps that you were talking about.
Yeah,
but it's a little bit bigger that you can. It gives you a bit more control. You can flip it around very easily,
raise it up and down.
It's a really good product actually.
Yeah, is it widely available? It's on the online. Presumably you can get it.
Yeah. Flipping Grate. Search Flipping Grate online, and you'll be able to find it. I think you can get it on Max Barbecue, and I think you can get it on a few other places. Just check it out. It's this cool bit of kit actually for cooking fish and stuff. It's actually really fun. I had it out the other day, and I was cooking it, and everyone sort of wants. It's one of those everyone wants to have a go, and like. And like you're talking about the grills that you can adjust the height up and down. It's really easy. You bring it up and down and flip it around, and everyone was like, "Oh, can I have a go?" And I was like, "Well, I'm sort of trying to cook here,
exactly.
but
it's exciting, isn't it? Yeah. No, that will really appeal to people. Definitely, yeah, exciting.
So, have you got an out-and-out favourite recipe in this book?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to choose, but I reckon I think there's an octopus recipe in here, which I think for me, octopus cooked on the barbecue, cooked well. You have to cook it twice. You have to make sure it's pre-cooked, and then finished over a really hot barbecue, so it kind of starts to blacken. I don't think there's anything quite like it. And the recipe that's in the book is my favourite one. It's grilled octopus with a pepperonata, which is essentially a stew of peppers, tomatoes, onion, and with a kind of a sweet, sour kind of element. You add some vinegar and a bit of sugar to it. That just gets cooked down for quite a while, and then served with a kind of a green sauce called mojo verde, which is it's like a salsa verde, but it's actually originates from Mallorca, and it's got loads of coriander in there, and it's got green pepper in there, and it's also got kind of green chili in there as well, capers. So it's quite piquant, but very coriander friendly. So it goes, and just the three elements go fantastically together. But what you do is you poach the octopus first. So you cook it till it's tender in just simmering water with some onion and bay leaf. Let that cool down, dry out, and then toss it with oils, loads of salt and pepper, and bang that over your barbecue. Very hot, and kind of staying with it so it doesn't stick, and just get it. Don't be afraid to get those little ends of the tendrils blackened, because that's what you want. It's crispy on the outside, soft in the middle. I just think for me it's probably one of the more simpler dishes, but for me it's fantastic.
It's making me really hungry, actually.
Good.
Yeah,
that's the idea. Yeah,
so
it's really good. But a tip with octopus, it's just so, I mean, hopefully people are going to buy the book, get a tip. But you use frozen octopus and defrost it, or if you can only get fresh octopus, is freeze it then thaw it, and so because the freezing process naturally tenderizes the octopus. So there's a good tip for you there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when you're at home, Ben, what sort of barbecues have you got in your garden?
As in the kit?
Yeah.
So in my garden, I've got I've got Drumbacue, which are my absolute favourites. Again, very simple, and it works for me. I've got a smallish green egg, that doesn't come out very often, to be honest.
No.
I'm Drumbacuing all the time now, and that's it. That's all I've got. That's all I need.
Yeah. Do you like the ceramic style cooks? I've got a Kamado Joe, and it's a sort of kind of bigger one. I think yours is the smaller one. I've seen like a picture of it, I think, at the beginning of the book, but I've got like a slightly bigger version of that.
Yes. I do like it. I just don't know. I just found my feet with the Drumbacue, really, and I've kind of slightly pimped it. I put some kind of bricks inside to kind of just around the outside, which just kind of increases the heat and the control a bit in there. But it's brilliant, and it's big enough. It's big enough to kind of do what you want on there. I think if you're gonna, what I've kind of explained in the book is, I think obviously the bigger surface area you've got, I guess the more kind of stuff you can do, the more kind of fun you can do. And, there's some dishes in here where, you can take one element from one chapter and a couple from another couple of chapters and essentially cook your dinner on the barbecue, getting that smoky element. And I think the Drumbacue allows you to do that with its surface area. You've got you have a pan of potatoes kind of cooked with garlic and rosemary. You can get those started and then move them to the side and put your octopus on the hot bit, and it's just great to have that surface area to kind of to move around on. And Drumbacue does that for me, so that's really good.
Yeah, that's good. That's cool. Have you got, when it comes down to like woods and stuff, do you have a personal favourite wood for smoking stuff? Quite often people have one. I think oak. I mean, it's probably, that may sound a little bit boring, but I just find it works. It's a really good all rounder. And so that's kind of what I do. But at work, so kind of MBR, we and what explains in this book as well,
There's so much out there now to experiment with. I mean, chestnut's quite good. Silver birch, we kind of use that quite a lot of work. I use that at home sometimes as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really good guy called Mark Parr. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. You probably have. You heard of Mark Parr from London Log Company?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, you can get stuff. He delivers to your house now and all the rest of it. He's fantastic. He's always developing or kind of producing new and exciting kind of woods and single species charcoal to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all super quality, and that it does really make a difference. I think the quality of the charcoal and the kind of the things that you're using on there makes a massive difference. I don't know what you guys think to that. Whether where do you guys get your stuff from?
We've heard of Lord Logs, Mark Parr, and heard he's producing really good stuff. We had Matt Williams from the Oxford Charcoal Company on the show last week. Who's quite friendly with Mark. So, but we're using Smokewood Shack at the moment. One of the show sponsors. They're producing really good quality smoking wood and just really reliable and everything. Really good customer service, and they're producing like a really wide range of different woods, which is really cool and really accessible to everyone.
Silver birch has been one we've been playing with as well. Recently,
silver birch is good. Yeah.
They've just got hold of some grapevine, which they're. We had Dr. Sweet Smoke on the show a few episodes ago who was talking about how he had spent some time at a vineyard and they were using grapevine to smoke with, and that it was a really, really lovely flavour. And actually, James of Smokewood Shack actually went out and sourced some and got hold of Dr. Sweet Smoke and said, like, here you go, have this and see what it's like. And the feedback so far has been really good, so he's going to start putting that out to the customers now. So, there's so many different woods available, and everyone's willing to experiment, which is an awesome place to be in at the moment.
Absolutely. I mean, Mark's just developing. He's got orange and lemon wood from orange and lemon trees. That's just kind of coming through now, which is very exciting, and also very kind of. It's very relevant to kind of my kind of cuisine. So we're just starting to kind of run with that at the minute. It's very exciting. Well, just to let you,
Matt Williams, Oxford Charcoal Company's just brought out a orange charcoal as well. You might want to check that out.
Yeah, definitely. I need to get hooked up with that guy. Have a chat with him, definitely.
Oh, honestly, he's a fascinating guy. I mean, I've never learned so much about charcoal ever.
Yeah, I mean, Mark's a kind of he's a lovable kind of. Charcoal and wood geek, and he's kind of what he doesn't know about it. But I'd be interested to speak to the Oxford guy, definitely. Yeah, see what else he's got to say.
Yeah, we felt like he was like a scientist when he was talking to us last week.
Yeah. It's great. It's really good. I love people like that. So.
Yeah. We just never thought there'd be so much technical input that goes into like that sort of thing. You just kind of accept charcoal for what it is, don't you? But you don't really think about the ins and outs of how it's developed and the moisture content and all that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
It's
very interesting.
There's a great debate, or you always see it in the sort of barbecue world, whether actually charcoal gives flavour or not. And I actually, in a very well-known brand of barbecues magazine that was released recently, it was like a barbecue like do's and don'ts, and it was saying that actually you can't get flavour. The average person can't tell the difference between something cooked over charcoal in the oven. And I was like, when I read that, I immediately thought, no way, that is 100% wrong. There is 100% flavour, and also not only that, but a smoky flavour. I feel you get from charcoal, you get a smoky flavour, and he confirmed that is true. That basically that you definitely do get a smoky flavour from. It still holds some components of the actual original wood, and will release that smoke through cooking.
You definitely do. I mean, I think that's I'd say that's a given. I'm sure Mark Parr from London Logs would have something to say about it as well. But you do. You definitely get smoky flavour. I mean, obviously when you start kind of adding wood and so on, then that's when you really kind of gets going. But charcoal's good quality charcoal. That's a great flavour, definitely.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So with the Salt Yard Group, what's next for you guys then?
So exciting plans ahead. So obviously we've got the book launch is happening soon. So that's going to be a couple of months of head spin stuff. But we're opening our 5th restaurant later on this year, which will be kind of late summer. Which
are we staying in London?
Yeah, very, very much so. Staying in London, a little bit of a different area, St James's, which is kind of, well, it's not a million miles away from where we are in Soho, but it's a different demographic. It's kind of an older crowd, and we are going to be doing a restaurant based around or influenced by Venice, specifically Venice and Veneto region. So no Spain this time. No, it's just purely Northern Italian, Venice, and yeah, with a nod to its kind of spice route heritage as well. So Venice was built for being on a major spice route. So we're going to be introducing some of the dishes. We having some, the old spicing in there, kind of, cardamom and cumin and those kind of flavors. So that we're going to be doing lots of fish. Venice is big for fish, so we'll be using a lot, mainly British fish. We might import a couple of things from Venice that you can't get over here. We're going to have a big raw bar as well, where we'll be kind of preparing the fish in front of the customers. So
awesome.
Quite exciting. Quite exciting. Quite different for us, and we're excited. We're going to be doing breakfast as well. So we're going to be open all day, every day, breakfast to 11, and then all day dining, basically. So
is that still like a very heavily Venice inspired breakfast menu?
Yeah, it will be. I mean, we'll add our slant where we can. I think it will be. I don't know how. I mean, when you go and have breakfast in Venice, it's kind of as you do anywhere in Italy, really. The most adventurous thing you really get is kind of eggs, and the rest is kind of pastries, coffee, and cigarettes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of that's it.
I can imagine the plate coming out now.
Yeah,
lovely.
Yeah. It'll be. So to give you an example of a dish that might be on the menu for breakfast, will be so it would be smoked salmon. So we're getting a really nice organic smoked salmon, and we'll be serving it with polenta. A polenta brioche. So homemade brioche, but made with polenta, which is obviously very northern. So it's quite pan fried in, and then the bread will be pan fried in truffle butter. So it'll be summer truffle butter, served with a poached egg, nice kind of Burford brown, and then summer truffle shaved on top. So that's the slant that it will get, if you know what I mean.
Oh, boom! That sounds absolutely fantastic.
Making me hungry.
Yeah. So that kind of thing, and then fry up. So obviously we're going to take on a fry up, but we'll be using, instead of bacon, we'll be using thick cut guanciale, which is kind of. Guanciale is the kind of the cured cheek of the pig. It's quite an Italian thing.
Oh, nice.
So it's bacon, but it's incredibly porky. So we'll be using that. Pork and fennel sausages that we will source from our Italian supplier, and then black pudding. But you get this really nice, creamy black pudding from Italy, which is very similar to the mortier you get in Spain. So we'll be using that on there, and then some roasted Italian tomatoes and. So it's you just add the slants to it, basically.
Yeah, sounds delicious.
Yeah, well, you'll have to come and try it when we open. So late summer we'll be rocking and rolling.
Cool.
So there'd be 5 on the website then.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. When it comes to like making rubs and like marinades and stuff for the barbecue, is there much of that sort of thing in your book?
Yeah, there's a bit. I mean, there's, I'm certainly a big fan of brining. I think that just adds so much to whatever kind of depending on what you're doing. But I love the kind of brines and flavoured brines. So there's a bit of a section in the back about brining and the virtues of it. And you
mentioned brining the lamb earlier on. I've never tried brining the lamb, which is really interesting. Yeah. Do you sort of brine everything then, or are you sort of like?
No, not everything. Not everything. It kind of depends. I think certainly chunkier cuts benefit from being brined. I mean, when it comes to things like fish fillets, so kind of mackerel or bream or whatever, I'd probably just give it a salt for an hour. I do think that's important. Is that process of kind of extracting, the kind of the just getting some moisture out of it if you're grilling, and you impart some flavour as well. So, but brining, things like say lamb, you can brine beef. Obviously, chicken's great for brining. We're all aware of that, and it just kind of keeps it super succulent when you're when you're cooking away. So so brining's a big thing, but marinades and rubs, yeah. I mean, there's 2 or 3 things in here I think that are in the kind of the rub section. I mean, there's one that's kind of my take on a blackening. I think I've got it on with maybe sea trout in here. I'm like, without looking through, but just very simply, a really good quality smoked hot smoked paprika with some sugar, some salt, some cumin, and some picked fresh thyme is kind of one of my favourite rubs. I think the smoked paprika, I mean, it's smoked anyway, but I just think that works incredibly well as a rub over barbecue. I just think it's kind of almost made for it. So smoked paprika is great in a rub, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was kind of our staple thing of most rubs.
Yeah,
going for
real
good quality paprika as well.
Yeah, well, that's it. Again, as with anything, it's got to be really, really good quality. You can get some tosh out there, to be honest. That's kind of, you get a kind of a not a very nice aftertaste of it, but the really good stuff is kind of it's just a natural, smooth flavour. So
and it's amazing again, like with the really good stuff, how little you need to really transform a whole sort of a whole plate of food. It's really just little touch of it and can really resound throughout the whole meal, which is really nice.
Well, yeah, exactly that, and then okay, yes, it costs a bit more to get the good stuff, but as you pointed out, you use less, so I think it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you were saying about the dry salt in the fish. It's amazing, just for an hour there, and people probably, I think, underestimate how much of a difference that really does make. Just sort of dry brining with a bit of salt in the fish for about an hour before you cook it. It really does make such a huge difference.
Well, it makes a huge difference on on the levels. Obviously, it helps the cooking process. You kind of you're taking some of the the water. You essentially take the water out the fish, which helps it firm it up. So it's easier to kind of manage on the grill, because there's less moisture in it. It just grills nicely, and also you're introducing a flavour, you're not, people I guess probably worried, it's going to be over salty, but just sprinkling it on and giving it that bit of time just adds, it's a real nice intrinsic saltiness that really just makes the dish work, I think.
Awesome. You've won a couple of awards, Sustainable Restaurant Awards, is that right?
Yeah. Oh, so no, absolutely. No, all our restaurants have, all 4 have we're member of the SRA, Sustainable Restaurant Association. So, we're very proud of that. And we're pushing. We have 2 stars from those guys, which is incredible. And particularly incredible is we still, we import quite a lot from Spain and Italy because we are a Spanish-Italian restaurant. But we're kind of pushing to push that up to 3 stars, which. We're doing various things. I mean, we've got a partnership now with a full partnership now with a farm in Shepherd's Bush, of all places. Believe it or not, there's it's attached to a school and it's called Phoenix Farm, and they have nearly 2 acres of amazing land with the farm. And when I say a farm, it's got chickens, it's got bees, but what it's mainly got is they grow fantastic fruit and vegetables. And so we support them. Does the
school actually run the farm?
Yes, it's a connection. It's separate, but there's a connection there. It's actually a separate charity called So the school's called Phoenix School, and the charity is called Phoenix Flame, which kind of look after the farm. But there's a relationship between the school and the farm in terms of, the kids will go into the farm and have some of their classes out there. Some of the kids will help the volunteers or be the volunteers to help on the farm. And there's some of the curriculum is based. It's where the school is. It's a very kind of rundown area. The estate is. There's a lot of poverty, and so what it's trying to do there is just introduce a lot of the kids to kind of fresh food. and kind of vegetables and make and cooking as well, because it's basically around there. It's all those cheap, nasty chicken shops. So everybody's going to get in there, chicken and chips for dinner for £1.50. So we're trying to, we're involved in that process as well. We're just trying to get everybody to kind of eat a bit healthier. And my chefs will go down there and get to see kind of where the vegetables are grown and get involved. We do some cooking classes for the kids and that kind of thing. But the main point is that we now direct some of the growing that happens down there, and we take it on. So we get a delivery every week to the restaurants, a few boxes of this amazing organic vegetables. It's always a mixed bag. We never really know what we're getting, but it's always absolutely fantastic. And the chefs will get a couple of boxes, and then they'll put it onto the menu or do specials with it. And that is, it doesn't get more local than that. Certainly in London, anyway. Where you've got somewhere, awesome. 2 miles up the road in central London. So we're really proud of that.
And with a great stories come with it as well, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's very cool. Very cool.
So the menus, the Salt Yard Group menus, are very susceptible to change, and seasonable items being on there and sort of.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we change our menus. So all 4 restaurants have a great head chef in charge at the restaurants, who are, pretty much in charge of their menus within certain parameters that I've kind
as long
of
as you like them.
The what? Sorry.
As long as you like them.
As long as I like them, basically, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, nothing goes on the menu without me trying it. But, all the guys are great, and they've been with me for a while. So,
awesome.
The parameters are, seasonality, got to be influenced by Spain and Italy, and that kind of thing. But we change regularly. We don't have a format of 4 times a year we change the menu. Dishes are changing kind of all the time.
Yeah.
So it is super seasonal. So wild garlic season's 4 weeks of the year. So that'll be lots of wild garlic over that 4 weeks, and then dishes will change, and that kind of thing. So it's super seasonal. Yeah.
I like that though. I like when you go to a restaurant that you really enjoy to get different things every time you go there. It's nice to have that.
Yeah, very much so.
I've just been looking at the drinks side of things. That we recently got a smoking gun, and we were playing around with putting smoke into different things, and cocktails was one of the things that we wanted to try doing with that. And I noticed there's a couple of some that mention cherry smoke and stuff on the menu here. Have you done much playing around with the cocktail side of things?
Well, it's not. We certainly have at Embillard. I kind of haven't done so much myself, but yeah, we do lots of our cocktails when we open there. We wanted to kind of carry on the theme of the grills and the barbecues into the drinks. So it could be as simple as grilling. So we do a really cool Negroni that we use kind of smoked ice in the Negroni, and then what we also do is we simply grill oranges, charcoal grill orange slices that go straight into the Negroni, and you automatically get a nice smoking. So it's as simple as that.
That sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it's really good, and you do get it. You've got a big chunk of orange that's been kind of charred. Boom, get into the drink, you get it straight away. But yeah, we also use smoking gun. Yeah, very much so. We've kind of we're always kind of experimenting with stuff, and the smoking gun's good. And cherry smoke, yeah, we've got cherry cocktail that they're working at the minute actually that's uses cherry smoke. It's kind of nice because it's got kind of it's quite sweet, and I just think it works nicely with the booze that they're using. So I think it's a brandy. I think it's a brandy cocktail.
Yeah, looks lush. I'm gonna have to try out some of these.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely add it to our stop tour of London next time we're around.
Definitely.
Will you pop in?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You must come in.
Cool. Well, that's literally about the hour mark there, so I'm going to have to step in and call it a day. But thank you very, very much for coming on the show. And could you let
It was a pleasure.
Could you let the listeners know where they could find you on sort of social medias and the website and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my, the main website is www.saltyardgroup.co.uk. That's the group website. There's a bit about me on there, and then you can get into all the restaurants from there. It kind of links into there, and then social media, kind of Instagram, Twitter. It's Chef Ben Tish. Kind of on both of them, you'll find me on there, and also at Saltyard Group on both Instagram and Twitter, and you'll kind of find a bit of me on there and more about the group. And you'll have links to everything else we do in there.
Awesome.
And hashtag Grill Smoke Barbecue for the book, most importantly.
And that'll be coming out next week, guys. So
that'll be coming out next week, 21st. Yeah.
Get on social media, go on, check it out. It's on Amazon, and you can pre-order that and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you very much, Ben.
Pleasure, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We've recorded yet another awesome podcast to get you over Hump Day. As always, we're brought to you by ProQ BBQ Gourmet and Smokewood Shack, our awesome sponsors. ProQ is dedicated to providing you with quality smoking products with top-notch service and free advice for beginners to pitmasters. And you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under ProQ Smokers. So if you're thinking about buying your first smoker, or looking to upgrade, or even looking to pick up some epic accessories, check them out over at Max Barbecue. And BBQ Gourmet is devoted to promoting real barbecue and supplying the UK and Europe with top championship winning barbecue rubs, sauces, marinades and accessories from the US and around the world. And you can find them on Twitter and online under BBQ Gourmet. So regardless of how you cook, whether it's on charcoal, wood, gas or electric, the real taste of summer can be yours all year round. And Smokewood Shack delivers quality smoking wood every time. They provide the smoky goodness and you provide the talent. So if you're looking for smoking wood chunks, dust, chips or planks, or even more, head on over to smokewoodshack.com and you can find them on Twitter at Smokewood Shack. So goodbye from me and...
Goodbye from me.
See you next time, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.